Welcome to Spotlight on the Arts. I'm Patrick Cristiano, your host, the publisher of TheaterLife.com, a website for theater buffs covering Broadway and off-Broadway theater. And I'm coming to you from the LTV studio in Wayne-Scott, where I have a really cool guest, the new executive director of the Animal Rescue Fund of the Hamptons, Kimberly Nichols. Kim, welcome.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
Oh, we are thrilled to have you because the Animal Rescue Funds of the Hamptons is one of my favorite nonprofits, and I wear my sweatshirt. It's one of my favorite sweatshirts.
Love to see that.
that.
So, and I also brought Miss Plum.
Let's introduce Miss Plum.
She's
Come
one
over
of our
here.
rescues.
Miss Plum is up for adoption. So we
She
want
is.
everybody to meet Miss Plum.
She's about 12 weeks old.
I
And
gotta
she,
get a picture in the
and she-
camera. There you go.
Camera, can you look right over there, please? And she was one of our recent rescues out of South Carolina. So this might.
She's how old again?
She's about 12 weeks old. So she's one of our older puppies, and that's because
12 weeks is an old puppy?
Well, yeah, because we try to get the transports in. They're checked over by a veterinarian. They are spayed and neutered. They're microchipped. They get all their vaccines. And this particular group, unfortunately, had a lot of parasites, so they were put into quarantine for an extended period.
So how long was she in quarantine?
She was in quarantine for 3 weeks. So that's pretty long. Usually it's 7 days and then they're all clear, but this one was a rougher group, and that happens sometimes. That's part of rescue.
So how old is she now again?
12 weeks.
And she's been in quarantine for 3 of those weeks.
Yeah.
But that's amazingly young. How do you get them so young?
So many of them, we work with partners. This one is Fostering Foster. They're one of our closest partners, and they're based out of South Carolina. And they work with animal control and the municipal shelters, and they're high kill shelters. So
How does a dog, what I'm trying to get at is a dog that's this young, how does it get into the shelter and way down there? You know.
So, New York is fantastic about spaying and neutering animals. That isn't as true in the southern states. And so there are a lot of puppies, and there's a lot of
when the puppy, they just throw them away?
But they tend to be dropped off
At the shelter?
shelters. Yeah, so this Plum came in with her
So it
siblings.
isn't just natural disasters to create homeless dogs, and it isn't just abusive people that throw their pets away, even.
No, there's just such a high number of dogs and cats. So, and there's a need up here. People want to adopt, so it works actually really well for us to work with these rescue partners.
Especially when they're young, yeah, because people want young, they prefer young.
And we also take older dogs too. So you get the puppies and then you take a few of the older dogs, and we do what we can to help rescue as many dogs as possible.
No, that's wonderful, that's wonderful. So let's talk, if they want Miss Plum, and I love her name, she's from Clue.
From
She's
Clue,
Miss
yes.
Miss Plum, I used to love that
Yes,
game, I think I still have it in my basement somewhere. Do you play it anymore?
I do actually.
We'll have to make a party.
Oh, that would be fun.
So anyway, if anybody wants Miss Plum, what do they do?
So any cat or dog, you go to arfhamptons.org and you can look through the variety of animals that we have, and it's constantly changing as rescues come in. So we do some of these transports from the south, and then we also do local rescues. So the majority of cats that we have come from the local area. We try and get them as kittens so we can socialize the feral cats and then get them adopted into great homes. Some are owner surrenders. So for whatever reason, they can't care for their animal anymore. They may have lost their housing. It may be an issue of not being able to afford it. It could be behavioral issues. But the one thing that ARP does is no questions asked, we will take in an animal.
Let me tell you, and for people that don't know, ARF is on Daniel Holds Road. What's the address exactly?
124 Daniels Hole Road.
And you have how many acres there?
We have 24 acres.
24 acres, and they have recently gone through a renovation of the space, and they have now maxed out the lot usage. So they've built as much as they can, and you've built all of these facilities to train animals. Tell us about the new facility.
So a part of the renovation was redoing the existing space, so our kennels are now at ground level. Before they used to be below ground, for those who visited. Now they are right at ground level, and all the dogs have indoor and outdoor space, individual kennels.
That's fantastic.
And then outside of that are play rings for them, so that we can do a lot of socialization. And our catteries were all redone, so they're wonderful spaces, were custom built on the walls for the cats to play with. And there are 2 major catteries, both with porches, so they can be indoor, outdoor with the screened porches.
We have one on the screen right now. Here's one of the
That's
catteries.
the space, and the cats love it. And then we have a kitten room also, where people come in every day and they socialize the kittens. And for those who have worked with ferals, this will sound familiar, but the others, they're not so friendly when you first rescue them. But they get used to human beings, and then they start to love people, and it's amazing how quickly a kitten will be a little spitting kitten to a purring, affectionate cat.
I have a curious question. Like a cat that's been feral for a long time, can you make that? Can you train him to be?
Probably not.
Okay, I didn't think so. I was just curious.
There are feral colonies out here, and they're exceptionally well managed. So this side of the
How
canal,
do they manage them?
volunteers. It's
Wow.
incredible volunteers who go out and feed these cats. They trap them so that we can spay and neuter them. Then they tip the ear, and then we'll release them back into the colony. Unfortunately, some of the cats in that group are people have dumped a house cat there. So those we know are socialized and they tend to be friendly. Those we'll find a home for. But the
How
feral
can you tell?
cats.
You can, because they'll be friendlier. It's
Yeah,
obvious.
as soon as you get near them,
You'll know.
they'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So being a feral cat, it's a very difficult life, and I have such huge respect for the people who manage these colonies.
Wow.
They know these cats well, they take such good care of them, they're
It
incredible
takes a high
volunteers.
commitment. It really does. It really does.
So what we do is, in exchange for mapping the colonies and knowing where they are, and for them doing the trapping for us so we can spay and neuter, is we provide food for them. So, and then the other thing that we do, which is very important, is we do a lot of collection of dog and cat food. And we do the collection and then we distribute it out to the local food pantries. Because for us, the most
how do you
important
collect it
thing
all?
is for animals to remain in the home.
Mhm.
And so if people have trouble
Miss Plum.
and may need and may need to go to a food pantry, they probably need pet food too. So we wanna make it as easy as possible for them.
Come here, come here, come here. Miss Plum is moving around. She's just a sweetheart.
She's got the
Come here,
attention span of
come
a
here,
puppy.
Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. Oh, okay. I don't want to push her. She's a little frightened. I saw.
So that's part of being the puppy and the socialization process, and that's why our volunteers are so important. So we have literally hundreds of volunteers that come to socialize the cats or the dogs, and they're walked twice a day. They spend time in the puppy room with them. We also have some very brave volunteers that do shy dog training, and those are dogs that have been through a lot of trauma and are afraid of people. So it starts with just sitting in a room with them, and then they get closer and closer as they get to know you. And it's amazing to see a dog change over time, from fear to looking forward to seeing that person.
It's almost like a human that's been traumatized, and then you
Very much so.
grow out.
Yeah.
You know, and it's all a process too. We all have process. I learned so much from my dog, from things and that I see that he does, and I actually do it, put it into my life and make it effective for me. So my dog is a teacher for me, believe it or not.
I believe it. And there's nothing like the unconditional love of a dog or a cat. I think cats give unconditional love too. I know people have different opinions about that.
I'm not there. I'm not in it. I'm just I have a preference for dogs all my life, but I'm not fond of cats too. Yes, they're all the creatures. All of God's creatures are gorgeous, and
They are.
there isn't a dog that I don't think is gorgeous, unless it tries to bite me.
So I will say that we do have dogs that have behavioral issues, and some of that is aggression and bite. And when you were talking about the facility, the newest part of ARF is an 8,400 square foot
Let's show the rest
training
of the
center.
pictures, we have more pictures. Let's, because they're training facilities, we have pictures of the training facility. This is
Yeah,
one of the is how many, 8,400 square feet?
8,400 square feet. It's an incredible facility, and that's our trainer, Cindy Leroy. And what we do is work with the dogs. We have socialization classes, which gives you an opportunity to spend time with other people and their dogs. We also do basic dog obedience. We have puppy obedience. And then we do some more advanced classes like agility training. So that's Frank Hanna, another one. He's our behavioral liaison. He's great with the dogs. They're absolutely incredible.
What's his name again?
Frank Hanna.
So you have 2 trainers now?
We have one trainer
Okay.
and then a behavioral liaison.
Okay, got
And
it.
then we have trainers from the community who are come in and they do classes within our facility. So the thing that we ask of our trainers is that they're Lima compliant, which means they only use positive reinforcement. So the biggest issue that we're finding with dogs that are returned is that their training has been done with negative reinforcement. And by negative reinforcement, I mean shock collars and prong collars. It's not great training for a dog.
People still do that?
It's effective and it's not illegal.
I mean, people, I guess people go to that with really problem dogs, they think it's gonna be a rebel.
Or you don't know. A lot of it's education. Positive reinforcement is treat. It takes a lot of time, but dogs are fairly motivated with love and food.
Yeah, I know that, so it just blows my mind that anybody could go the other way because you don't get any, I mean, it's like dealing with a person, if you wanna, beat them up, you're not gonna get what you you're not
Very
gonna get
true.
the kind of person you want
Very
responding and you're not gonna get the response you want is what I'm going for, yes.
So it was important to us to offer a variety of classes at an affordable price. We also have scholarships. Anyone who adopts an ARF dog, we give them a substantial discount because training means a dog will stay with the family. Behavioral issues are probably the number one reason why dogs are returned.
And why they might even run away.
Yeah.
It's a combination of things.
Yeah.
So is everything available on the website?
Everything is available
So
at
like, if you,
arfhamptons.org. Do you want me to keep repeating that?
yes, I want
It's
you can say
ARF.
that one right to the camera, you can find all the information you want at arf.org, and you can
Yeah,
practice.
it's arfhamptons.org, and you can find information under programs for dog training. And then if you looked at adoptions, you can see all of our cats and dogs.
And there's lots of pictures, you did that beautifully, perfect.
Thanks, you make it very easy.
It's mutual, it goes together. And how is Miss Plum doing?
She's doing good, because she's got puppy attention span, but she's doing exceptionally well.
She's not showing up good on the camera though, she seems like she's much cuter.
Oh.
Her face, I don't see her eyes as well on the camera that I wanna see.
Okay, Miss Plum, you wanna
I want someone to adopt Miss Plum, cause she's so sweet.
So, one of the other, I wanted to bring Miss Plum because she is the success of our partnerships. So I talked about fostering Foster,
Right.
but once she got here, right now, ARF doesn't have a full-time veterinarian. So we are lucky that we have per diem veterinarians. So all the dogs get great care, and it's based on per diem veterinarians and the work of
Explain
all
that
of
to
the
me.
clinics in the area.
Do they each, how much per diem means what?
So they come in, we have a veterinarian that comes in once a week, and we have a couple of them that they'll come by once a month.
Okay,
And some of them, like Dr. Jay Coleman, who's on our board, comes and he does it for free, which is
Okay.
absolutely amazing, because ARF is 100% funded by donations and donations only. So that is a huge gift to ARF. We also have Terry Meekins, who is a concierge doc here in the area. She has spent so much time with us. And Cindy Guasto, who has a private practice in Rocky Shores, who is an incredible surgeon. And then we recently started partnering with Old Town, and Old Town is the one who spayed Plum.
Oh.
So it's amazing how the local veterinarians will help out. I mean, Dr. Tereski is incredible, Dr. Davis is incredible, East Hampton Vet Clinic. It takes,
We have a wonderful community
we
out here,
have
don't
such a
we? We're
wonderful
so
community,
blessed.
and they care so much about the cats and dogs in this area, and they come together to make it happen.
Well, I thank you so much for all the work that you do, and you come to the organization with a lot of interesting background. That you want to tell us about what your previous job was, because I think it's extraordinary.
So I spent a lot of time in healthcare, and then when I moved to the Hamptons about 20 years ago, I started working with The Retreat, which is a domestic violence agency.
For a few people who don't know, the retreat does really wonderful work for women of abuse.
It does.
Yeah,
And I was there for a number of years, and then my son was ill for a while, so I left and then came back. He's doing great, but during that time, went to work for hospice, and then came back to domestic violence. And
what I thought was interesting about this story is your boss is this correct? Am I right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Your boss from domestic violence thought when this opening came up, thought you would be a great candidate and made an introduction for you,
so
which is
she knows that when I worked at hospice, I would go out with the home health nurses, and we would glove up and get the barn cats, and we had 5 veterinarians that would help us with spay and neuter, and that was a big part of it. Vermonters, this was in Vermont, it's important to them, the whole family is taken care of, and that barn cat is part of the family. So there was that. When at the retreat, one of the issues was, abuse tends to start with the easiest victims, and those tend to be the cats and dogs. And most people will not leave the situation without a safe haven for their pet. And that's an issue, because you can't go into a human shelter bringing a pet with you. So it was finding places for the pets too. So Loretta Davis, who's the executive director of the
that's
retreat.
That's something I never would have thought about. That's very fascinating to that dynamic and how that played out too.
Yeah, if you wanna hurt someone, you're going to go
Yeah,
after
it's like they're
those
going
that
at
they
their
love.
children too, and the stuff like.
Yeah, and that's generally when someone will leave in a relationship. When you start to hurt the things that they love, they'll leave to protect them.
That's the line.
So, saving those who can't speak for themselves has always been hugely important to me, and working for nonprofits. And so when this job at ARF turned up, it was a dream. It was everything that I love and care about. And what a great job where I can sit with puppies on my lap and make a difference.
And make a difference in the world, and
Yeah.
make a difference in people's lives and the puppies' lives, and spread knowledge and wisdom and give people training. You get to do all this stuff and have fun and being of service, and isn't it amazing?
It is, and it's such an incredible organization with huge community support. But watching that connection when somebody comes in and makes an adoption, it's a thrill. It really is. And you see the love, and it's fun. They come in and they have something in their mind and they're absolutely sure what they want, and then something happens and there's some kind of eye contact, and suddenly they found the perfect match, and it may not even be what they came in for.
I love that too. I love when people change their minds about where they're going or what they're doing. And you have so many programs throughout the year and things that you do. Like, every year there's the animal ARF walk to the sea, which is something that I do every year, and I love to do. And I think we've won the smooch with your Puchka. Me and my pets have won it a couple of times.
Well, it was pretty incredible. Would you hear me cheering while you
No,
were doing
no,
that?
no,
That was pretty
I'm in
incredible.
my own zone.
So the stroll to the sea was just fantastic this year. We were very nervous because we had to move the day due to rain.
It worked out perfect, didn't it?
It did. It was such a beautiful day, and we had even more people turn out. So it was.
Do you know how many
wonderful.
people you had?
We probably, on registrations, we had 700 people. So
Wow.
some of them walked virtually, but there were a lot of people and dog lovers there.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was absolutely perfect. The weather was wonderful. And I'm sure the few people that couldn't change, so you lost a few people. But there are probably some people you picked up that couldn't have been there Saturday and came on
We
Sunday
did, we
instead.
had a lot of walk-in registrations that day, and it just, between all of the people who were there to support it as our sponsors, with the tables there, it was just so much fun, and then the competitions, the day just got better and better.
And the weather got better and better as
It
the day
did.
went on
It
too.
did.
It was really a very beautiful day. I like to do that. That's one of my favorite things every year. But you also have a gala up in the middle. Do you know when that's going to be yet or not?
So that will be in August,
Mhm.
and that's the Bow Wow Meow Ball. And we now have that William P. Rayner Training Center, which it's wonderful for training, but it turns out it is a beautiful space
Is
for
it?
events.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's where we hosted it this past year, and it was incredible. It
How many people- how many-
transforms with our volunteers who did the design, and so many people came forward to donate greenery and flowers, and it was a fantasy room. It was gorgeous.
And it sounds marvelous. I didn't get to go because we had to go to a wedding, unfortunately, in New York. Which trumped you this year because I've been so many times before. But I'm sorry. We'll come this next year.
2024. It is
2024.
our 50th anniversary. The Animal Rescue Fund will be 50 years old in 2024, so we have big plans.
Well, you'll have to come back and tell us more about it
Okay.
just before. And we have a video that we want to show that you told me got a standing ovation
It
at
did.
the benefit.
It did.
Uh,
This video features one of our rescues of Sticky, who was found stuck to a rat trap.
Sticky's a cat, not a dog, by
Yes,
the way.
Sticky. We want to balance. We have the dog in person. Sticky was stuck in one of those sticky rat traps and found inside a barn, and was starving and stuck. And that's one of the local veterinarians used oil to get the trap off the cat. And one of our long-term rescuers,
I think it's all
Zoe.
in the video.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
let-
let's do that.
Sticky was found stuck in a glue trap that had been set for rats. And this poor little thing was found by a good Samaritan. Then he came to ARF and they had to really soak him and bathe him. They do a complete medical checkup on him before it's allowed to go to the home of a socializer. And I'm a socializer. This is my boy, the most adorable kitten you've ever seen, and he is just as sweet as he can be. I received this kitten when he was 3.5 weeks old, and I will be the socializer foster of the kitten until he's about 2 pounds. He has to weigh 2 pounds. So we set the scale to 0 so we know his weight every morning, and then we put him in and hope that he stops wiggling for a minute. And this morning he weighed 1.13, and he looks like he's weighing 1.15 now, but that's because he's just eaten. This guy is going to go in, I think, next Thursday. He will be put out for adoption, and he will fly out of ARF. It's always hard when you have these little darling things and you get so fond of them to give them up. But it's very rewarding to know that when I give him up, he's not going to run from people, he's going to run to people. He's so cute and he's so darling, and he will climb all over the person that gets him. Now that's something that somebody's going to love. It's not a wild kitten that is going to be alone all of his life in your house. This is a kitten that will interact with you. And that's why it's so important to do it. The Operation Cat program took the kittens out of feral colonies and made them adoptable instead of turning them into breeders in the wild. It gives me cold chills to think of what would have happened to Sticky if the Good Samaritan hadn't walked by. I started a long time ago, and the board members that have come on board, they've brought a group of donors on that have made ARF into a fantastic organization. We can bring animals in that need help, and we can be proud of the work we're doing. What we do need now is more medical help, to have enough money for the right kinds of veterinarians, because it's expensive out here to live. So we need money to bring the right people into our organization to do the work we need to do. We do need money, and God bless the donors. Well, this is a little epilogue, maybe you'd call it a sticky log, because we've decided to keep Sticky. And that means that this is probably our first foster fail ever in the 30 years that we've been fostering animals. I guess we're just a little stuck on Sticky, if you know what I mean.
Let's get on. We want Miss Plum on camera there. Well, get Miss Plum on camera. Yes. Anyway, we love it. We love it. So that's how many cats do you think she fostered in all those years?
Oh, hundreds of cats.
And this is her first failure.
Yeah, well
that's what
over,
I didn't get.
200 cats she's fostered, kittens. And fostering is not easy.
No.
I mean, when they're bottle babies, then you have to feed them every few hours, and that's 24 hours a day. So they work hard, and it makes a huge difference for these cats.
Oh my God, yes. But you also you're only right now you're mostly fostering cats, but you said you're going to maybe pick it up and start doing dogs soon too.
Years ago, we used to do dog fosters. We have a few that are out on medical foster now, but we hope to restart that program. But you have to be very careful. I mean, it's got to be just the right home, and it's a big responsibility.
Oh.
I mean, you're responsible for a life.
Yes, and you have but for your cats now you have a whole series of volunteer people that do this. You've screened them. You know
Yes.
everything that you need to know about
Yes.
these people. They're proven commodities.
They are.
Yeah.
They're incredible, and they're there whenever we call them, because it could be later at night, it could be in the morning. You know, they pick up the phone and they are there to help. We couldn't do it without them. So I will say, a foster fail, as Zoe was.
A positive fail.
That's always our favorite. So I have been at ARF for 6 months now, and I took a dog home with pretty severe behavioral issues. That dog now lives with me. So a fair warning, if you think you want to foster, you will probably expand your family. But that's good. We love foster fails.
Well, Kim, thank you so much for coming. You'll have to come back again and share some more about what's going on at ARF. And welcome to the ARF.
Thank you, and thank you for letting us talk about ARF and bring Ms. Plum out. And again, if anybody is interested in adopting this adorable little puppy, it's at arfhamptons.org.
Thank you.
Thanks.